The mother character declares that nursing homes are only for white people. America has a tricky history of things that are for whites only. But what other things are only for white people? Pam Brady co-created this with me, and she co-created South Park. Do you have a favorite South Park episode?
I think the South Park joke that sticks with me the most, and I think it might actually be in the movie, but it's like the world is over or something. I don't remember the setup, but people are either going to heaven or hell, and a bunch of people are going to hell, and there's a guy there, and he's just going, and the correct religion was Mormon. And I remember just being a kid and being like, that is so funny, because you're like, you always have this doubt of like, what if I'm doing it wrong, or what if I'm not and then just like South Park being like, this is the right and everyone else was wrong. You're like, there's such a small group, and I remember it made me laugh so hard and also scared me.
Yeah. Number one, Happy Family USA came from your childhood nightmares. What do your adulthood nightmares look like?
My adulthood nightmares, it's like a series of just playing out conversations that happen in real life, but then I go into my dream and then they're just sometimes scarier. Like it's just like we had like there was something going on in our house with the plumbing, and then I'll have a nightmare that's just like, so yeah, this plumbing thing, you're gonna be broke now forever. Like the plumbing thing, they need all the money, and they need your dad's money too, because that's how bad the plumbing is. And then I wake up and I'm like, so it's really just about stuff my dad used to stress about, I now stress about.
I was gonna say your childhood nightmares, your adulthood nightmares are just what your child experienced. Your dad's
100%. All my nightmares are about like mechanics ripping me off, and like, yeah, this has been very drilled into my psyche. But I'm just like, bro, like it's not that complicated, the car, but I don't actually know enough about cars to not be swindled, and so I'm in a very vulnerable position.
Number one, Happy Family USA tackles xenophobia. Do you think Americans are only afraid of xenos because they haven't met any xenos in person?
I think a big part of it is not meeting somebody. The fear can only grow to a certain level if you don't personally know anyone, I believe. And then there's a version where you do know people, but you say, well, I know one of the good ones. And I think the family in this show, is doing a big performance to be one of the good ones, which I think was an alt title that we might have had at some point.
One of the good ones?
One of the good ones, yeah. But then we were like, it's so many of them, but it's not really one. But yeah, these concepts and these things, the way that they grow, it is just fear. And I think fear, can be, tripled if you don't actually know somebody.
There's a beautiful fantasy montage between you and your middle school teacher set to Casey and JoJo's All My Life. And beautiful is stretching it for people that will watch the full thing. What other 90s, 2000s jam is your go-to to set the mood?
Anything Usher really gets the mood going, I think.
What's your favorite Usher song?
You Got It Bad, I think. I would listen to it as a kid unironically. Like I'd have my headphones on and just walk through You Got It Bad.
Are people supposed to listen to it ironically?
No, I think it is a sincere. It's only sincere. You're right. Yeah, there's no irony. You're right. Yeah, it is. Being a kid and really feeling like you've got it bad, and then watching one of your heroes, Usher, just go for it. It really hits the spot.
Himself,
yeah, he's got it bad for sure.
On the show, Hussein, the father character, declares that big dick men are the only ones who can be so mean. Is the inverse also true? Do all men who are mean necessarily have big dicks?
Size doesn't matter when it comes to meanness on a level. Repetitive meanness, though, a stubborn type of meanness might signify size, a larger size. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a very, I think, science. Like, that's not me. That's science.
That's science.
Saying that.
It sounded like science.
There's a lot of science on it.
And in the show.
The show is mainly science-based, I would say. It's a science-based animated adult program that is, it's 200% factual.
The mother character declares that nursing homes are only for white people. America has a tricky history of things that are for whites only. But what other things are only for white people?
Keeping shoes on in the house, which is a very serious issue that we really dive into in the animated program as well. It's a lot of bacteria on the street, especially a street like New York City.
Yeah, dirty.
And then, I would say culturally, there's no pressure to take the shoe off. And I think this creates, again, another scientific issue, just as a science-based show. It's part of why we point to that. But yeah, in the Arab house, shoes must be off. Yeah.